Yeah, I see the other post that I saw before, the lady with the black lady with the white hat
Mm-hmm.
on May 14th. I see that post pinned on there.
Okay, we're live. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, everybody, come on in. Sheesh, it took away my title description. Yay, yay. I'll go ahead and type it back in. Hello, everybody.
Hello, hello.
Our guest, Coach Cailah. Some of you guys may remember her from our last interview. She's with us again, and we're excited. We have a lot of topics and things that we're going to talk about. So, I some kind of way Facebook took away my description. So, just give me 1 minute to put it back in. I want you all to know what we're going to talk about today. It's going to be exciting, 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 exciting. So, one of the things that we're going to talk about is just health and wellness, like generally. That it's a marathon, not a sprint. So sometimes we get kind of discouraged about when we're not seeing the results so fast, because we look at it as a sprint, because sometimes we have these dates in our mind that I need to be this kind of way by a certain date or whatever. And so we add that pressure to ourselves. So we want to talk about it being a marathon so it can become our lifestyle. So that's one of the things Coach Cailah is going to help us with. Um, we're also going to talk about adding fiber to our diet. That's something that's very important. A lot of women have problems with digestion and going to the bathroom regularly. So we're going to talk about that. That is key to health. So she's going to share with us information on that. She's also going to talk about these targeting areas. So our last conversation, she told us that we can actually target areas, although they say that we can't. But our weak spots. Mine, I know, is sometimes is my ab area because I don't like working that out. And we're
Mm-hmm.
going to talk about that with Coach Cailah. She's going to share, how to do that, and then she's also going to tell us talk about some herbs and spices that are uh, benefits to our health that we don't know about. And so she's going to give us that knowledge on today so that we can know, what we have in access with our spices, cumin, and different things like that. Target our weak areas, talk about the importance of fiber. Okay, awesome.
Yep, yep.
All right, so we're going to get right into it. Coach Cailah, can you tell us a little bit about who you are for those who are just getting to know you on today's episode?
Well, hello, guys. My name is Coach Cailah. I am an online personal trainer and nutrition coach. I also, before quarantine, traveled the country speaking on health, wellness, and fitness. So I've been in the industry for about 14 years, and I've been completely online for the past 5 years. And if I'm bouncing, yes, I'm excited, but I'm also on a bouncy ball. I just prefer to stay active and moving throughout the whole day.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I do nutrition, I do fitness, write workout plans, write meal plans for my clients across the country.
yeah, the first time I got introduced to you, I said, "Who is that? Who is that person bouncing on the ball?" That's
Uh-huh.
really
Uh-huh.
cool.
I'm here. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so can you
Yeah.
talk to us today? One of the first things I wanted to discuss with you is uh, health and wellness not being a sprint but a marathon. So can you kind
Absolutely.
of tell us a little bit about that?
Well, we in America, we have been degraded to the point where we want everything at like immediately. We want everything today. We want it now. It has to happen. There's no process. There's no project towards it. We want it now. So we've become a microwave society. So you pop it in the microwave and it comes right out. Super easy, super simple. And in that concept, we've lost a lot of a lot of time, a lot of thought, a lot of energy not going towards the things that we needed to go to.
Yeah.
So when it comes to nutrition, we'd rather find some kind of frozen, pre-made crap, at the grocery store and pop it in the microwave because it's faster and it's easier. I mean, yes, it's true. It's faster and it's easier, but what is it doing to the inside of your body?
That's good.
So that sprints, though it might be easier in the short run, the long run, what's going to happen to your body, your arteries, your blood pressure? Same thing with fitness. We want to lose weight like that. We know we didn't gain it like that, so there's no sense in thinking that way. So you're absolutely right, Jocelyn. Like, our wellness, our health, it's a marathon because it is a process that happens throughout our entire lives, not just temporarily and not just for a specific, season. I've got a wedding coming up. I've got a vacation coming up. It's a journey. It's really a life's journey.
Yeah, that's good. You know what made me think about that is my papa is 91 years old, right? So his body has taken him through 91 years. And
Wow.
How he's lived those 91 years, really at the end of his life, determines the quality of life that he lives. And so when I think about why I exercise and why I work out and walk, and, sometimes it's 2 times a day I'm doing something for my health. I think that, I want to live a long life. And if I do,
Absolutely.
I want to live a quality life. So what I'm doing today is going to determine, whether I'm going to have a quality life when I'm old. When you're old, that's when you need as much strength as you can possibly get.
Yes.
And so it's what we're doing now, taking fiber, having protein, eating properly, eating the right things, letting go of the salt, so on and so forth, that's going to determine whether or not we're walking with these, got to push this, what they call the little stroller thing because we can barely walk, or, I just don't want that kind of life, so I look at people and I learn what to do and what not to do, or I ask questions like, what can I do today to keep me from having that in my life, and so I think the idea of helping us to remember, like, yeah, you may be 30 today, you may be 40, you may be 50, but if God's willing, you got 30, 60 more years to go. And so what you do today is going to determine the quality of life you live. And I just want us all to kind of really think about that and begin to make changes. And it doesn't have to be, Rome wasn't built in a day. You've been doing this for 30 years. You're not just going to stop doing it. But can you kind of tell us, like, what are some first things first that we may want to do? Like maybe water, or taking the sodas out of our, diet, or something like that. Can you help us?
Well, first thing is looking at our mindset. Like you said, Rome wasn't built in a day, but also it's not just about the long term. It's about what's happening in our bodies now. There are a lot of changes in our bodies that happen immediately once we start implementing exercise, once we start implementing proper nutrition and, deviating from those bad carbs, from those bad sugars. So it's about how can I be healthier now and maintain that health the rest of my life. Yeah. So we've seen changes. Like doing research in scientific communities, again, there have been changes that happen in your body within as small as a week, right? So if we look at muscle, for the easiest example, if we look at muscle, atrophy begins to set in within 2 days. Now, if you don't know what atrophy is the decline or the decrease of muscle mass. So if you don't exercise, your body begins to atrophy. Your body begins to slow down its muscle mass, it begins to decrease its muscle mass within just 2 days of non-activity. Wow. So if my body can decrease within 2 days, it can also increase within 2 days as well. So it's all about having the right mindset. Yes, it's the life journey. Yes, there are going to be lifestyle changes, but there are also some good advantages that we can take right now. So the first thing, again, is mindset. Understanding that, yes, it is a journey, but there are things that you're going to benefit from right now today. And also the other benefits like financial. Yeah, you might have to spend money on the gym membership. Yeah, you might have to spend money on a personal trainer or a nutrition coach like me. But I'm just saying, it's cheaper to do those things than it is to pay thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars worth of medical bills or worth of pills and potions and all those sorts of things. So when getting started on your journey, the first thing is, I'm going to say, to be active. It is pretty easy to add a little bit of activity. Something as simple as everybody's working from home. Most people, are still working from home right now. I'm on an exercise ball. This still burns calories. Something as small as increasing activity. If you're on the phone, go for a walk around the house or walk around the block. Whether you're in the office or not, Get up every half an hour, go walk, go do something. So the first thing I would say is activity. Go do something, regardless of if you have a full plan or not. Just do it. Get your body in motion, Then start to begin to stretch, because now we're going to be more intentional about our bodies and what we're going to do. So I want to stretch my body. I want to make sure that I'm pretty limber. I still got my movement. I still have some activity, all that good stuff. And then I want to start implementing a workout program where I might even start off with walking, and then maybe I've got some 2-pound dumbbells and I'm going in. Yeah. But the first steps on the fitness side is to start to implement those small things of activity like a bouncy ball or standing on the phone, or things like that. And then go into your stretching, then go into your cardio and then your weight training. On the nutrition side, I'm always a fan of water. You can never go wrong with it unless you overdo it, which is a possibility. But water and whole foods. That's harder than it is to exercise, I believe. Focusing on your nutrition, right? So it is easy to add, a few bounces a day, a few sit-ups a day. But if you want to, exchange an entire dinner for a salad for something else, it can be a little more difficult for some people. But that's okay. Like, we are afraid of challenge. Our grandparents weren't afraid of challenge. So we've been this watered down generation where we got to learn how to suck it up. It's okay. It's okay to have some struggle. It's okay to have to actually push towards a goal. The Bible says to press towards the mark. It doesn't say that mark is going to be right there given to you. No, press towards that mark. So the same thing with our bodies and our nutrition. We've got to kind of turn the switch and turn the page in our mind and realize that, hey, there are some things that I might not enjoy right now, but I know that I'm going to see some fast benefit and some long-term benefit. So nutrition, it depends on the person for kind of a different process for helping them get healthy. But in general, water, dark leafy green vegetables, eating the rainbow, having adequate protein, those are your easy things to kind of take as a group, So yeah, those are some pretty easy tips to start off with, guys.
Ooh, you gave us a whole lot just in that one little insert. And guys, I'm looking down because I'm when she says something, I'm kind of putting it in my phone so I can know to come back to it. So you mentioned atrophy, like that was huge. You like 2 days. So I just think about, even like our senior citizens, I would just love to have something where they can just do so that their body doesn't decline. It's like if you don't use, you're gonna lose it, and it doesn't matter age, really, honestly. So atrophy, within 2 days, our body begins to decline. That's like, oh my gosh, I need to go from 4 to 5 days to 7 days. I can't afford to miss a day, and so, but the good thing about it is, like you said, though, if we do work out on those, when we do work out for 2 days, the benefits of that, just doing it, that was pretty awesome. That's encouraging. And then you talked about stretching. Like, a lot of us don't see the benefit of stretching, cool down, warm ups. We just go for it, so can you talk to us about the importance of that?
Well, I mentioned stretching because that should come before you're even ready to work out, because a lot of times you're not even ready to handle your own body weight in certain situations. Imagine a regular push-up or a pull-up, things like that. Let's just say even a squat. If you're not able to really command your body to 100%, we've got to start to work on those areas. And stretching, what that does, it increases blood flow to those areas, it increases oxygen. It helps to develop more elasticity in those muscles. So stretching, again, even before you get to the point of exercising, is a great way to start because it helps to prepare your body. It helps to elongate your body, loosen up those joints, put some WD-40 in there. All that comes from stretching. Now, when we go to those that are already exercising, I'm guilty myself. Sometimes I'll do a warm-up and I'll do a little bit of cardio and then go right into my workout depending on my time. But it's not always the best thing, so you do want to take time to stretch, to lengthen your body, to make sure that your body is operating optimally, because there are times where you can easily overtrain. You can overtrain, and stretching is a form of almost medication for your body, because it as well as increasing blood flow and it's increasing oxygen, it also releases those toxins. It releases those hydrogen ions. It releases those things. So it's a positive cycle. Bring in the good stuff and take out the bad stuff. So you can stretch to prepare your body for the workout, as well as stretch to release and relax your body from that workout itself. So if you're not stretching, do add it to your workout. I usually do mine after my run. Like I'll wake up in the morning, go where my dog's gonna come back, and then I'll do some stretching, and then I'll get started with my lifting program. But still do your stretching every day.
Oh yeah, that's
That's a good
important.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, especially as you get older, your flexibility kind of decreases if you don't do
Yes.
that, and so you wondering why you can't take long steps anymore. You taking this.
Yes. Body and it's not even now. If your musculature declines within 2 days, that means without stretching, that same process happens. So the longer we can prolong, the natural onset of age and how that affects your body, the better. Because I want to be like Ernestine Shepherd. She's like 80, 90 some years old, black sister. She's just super fit and everything. That's amazing. But she's old, and that's great. I want to have my life just like that when I get that age. So I know I've got to maintain the habits that I have now to get there. Because I don't want my kids to have to take care of me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that is my heart. I do. I don't want anybody taking care of me. I want to take
Right.
care of myself. I don't want to move in with my kids and my grandkids. I
Yep.
do not. I want to
Yep.
stay at my own house and take care of my own self. So that's the reason why I'm doing things now, so I don't have to be dependent on people. Because I didn't
Absolutely.
make
Yep.
good decisions. Another
Mm,
thing you talked about was challenges. So we do Girls Work That Body. Everybody, if you don't know, Girls Work That Body is an online platform for health and wellness. It's free. We do it on our Facebook pages in the mornings for those times when you don't get a chance to get with your coach like Coach Cailah, your personal trainers, or some people are just not ready to go into the gym. They prefer to do it at home. They don't have time to do it at home. So on
mm-hmm.
Monday, Tuesdays, Thursday, and Fridays, you can catch us live on Facebook on our page, Girls Work That Body, at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. And so on Mondays, we do yoga. On Tuesday, we do aerobics. On Thursdays, we do weights. And then on Friday, we have some fun with dance. And just trying to just do it overall. But when I do Girls Work That Body, I also walk,
Mm-hmm.
every day. But I brought that up to say that you can't just walk the same route every day. You got to change it up, and you got to challenge yourself. Even in your workouts, you have to challenge yourself.
Right.
So tell us how that looks in challenging ourselves.
Ooh, to change. So challenging and changing. So it's all about volume, right, and intensity. Those are the two main things. Volume is how much work are you doing in total? How many reps? How many steps? That it's all how long are you going? That's all volume. So how much overall work are you doing? Exercise is very scientific, by the way. And then you also have intensity. Intensity is how hard are you doing it? How intense are you being? How challenging is it? So I can change my workout volume by changing the time, right? So I can increase the duration of my walk or my run, right? I can, let's say, I can change the route, will be more so intensity. But for exercise, I can, increase the amount of sets and increase the amount of reps because all of those increase the amount of work that's being done. Okay. Now for changing intensity, that means I want to go heavier. I want to go higher. I want to go further. So the intensity itself for a walk or run would be, okay, if I know that my usual route takes me 20 minutes, I'm going to do that route, but I want to get in 18 minutes. I didn't change the volume because the route is the same, but I'm pushing the intensity because I'm going harder, right? I'm trying to push myself to get there, to get back to my destination faster. Now, when it comes to your weight training, your intensity is your weight. It's how many or how much weight are you doing? Volume is sets and reps. Intensity is the weight itself, the challenge within the set, volume. So manipulating intensity and volume is how we can change our body. It's how we can improve our workout program. So when I write client workout programs, that's what I do. I'll manipulate volume, I'll manipulate intensity, and with those factors, and then the types of exercise, then that's how I create a full workout program. And I've had clients for years and years and years that stay on because everything's always new. It's always different and always challenging.
Yeah,
So you
guys,
shock your body with that.
I want to also tell you that Coach Cailah has an awesome offer for us. Can you tell us about that really quickly, guys? uh, You got to get on it. Some of it's for the first 10 people that call her, but then there's something else that's for everybody. So tell us about that.
I'm trying to look at what we did last time. I don't
I
remember.
think I have it here. So it is you discounted some of your workout programs to us, and they are your online fitness and nutrition
Yeah.
coaching for professionals and busy entrepreneurs to lose weight, get healthy, get fit, feel sexy, and design your body with Coach Cailah.
Boom.
So,
There we go.
home workout plan starting at $37.95. This is all in the comments, guys. And then her elite program, you just type the code, give her the code, girl work that body, and you get 20% off on the elite program. And then she has a personal calorie guide consultation. And I think that's free for the first 10 people that
Yes.
contact her. And please help us understand why it's important that we know, calories and know how much calories to have, so on and so forth. And also tell us about your elite program that you're giving us 20% off on before we
Sure.
move forward.
Yes. So for calories, let's take that same example of volume and intensity. If someone is doing a low volume and low intensity and they're doing a 30-minute walk every single day, and they may be, let's say they're 40 years old and I don't know, 200 pounds, their calories are very specific to that goal and what they're currently doing. But let's say on the other hand, you have another 40-year-old, who's 200 pounds, who has double the volume and double the intensity. That means that person is going to need a little bit different calorie guides, but also they may have a gluten intolerance. They may have a this, they may have a that. So understanding what your calories should be really helps you to detail and design your body, because that way you can really create a plan, or I can create that plan for you for your own weight loss, for your own muscle gain. Some people, they may like their shape. They just want to tone up. So your calories have to be different from someone who wants to lose 50 pounds. So understanding where your calories should be is a huge benefit. You can log and track in something like MyFitnessPal. That's amazing. But when you know what it should be specifically for you, that's a huge benefit. Along with how many carbs, how many fats, and how many proteins, which is the macronutrient aspect to that. Those right there, whew, that's half the battle. Nutrition, that is half the battle. And in my online elite programs, that's what I do for you. I write your workout plan based off of what things already been over, as well as your meal plan based off of those things. So I have one for those that are only interested in fitness workouts, another for nutrition only, and then another program to combine them all together. But if you check me out, like we said, that is 20% off. So yeah, check me out. We'll see what we can do together. My most famous clients, she has lost 42 pounds in 3 months.
Wow.
Yeah, 42 pounds in 3 months,
All
right?
ladies.
My average client loses about 6 to 8 pounds a month. All right. So depending on how you push, depends on how fast your results, because your results are depending on you. So if you're looking for that weight loss, that muscle tone, I've got a bikini competitor. I've got power lifters. I've got somebody's grandma. I've got the whole gambit of people that I work with, because everything is built specifically for the person.
Well, that's pretty awesome. What is the $37.95? What does that include?
37. So that is my home workout club, right? That was kind of inspired by quarantine, where you may need a little bit of help getting your workout in at home, because I don't know about you, but I'm not going to the gym. It's not safe. I don't care. I'm not even wearing a mask. I don't care. I'm not going. So my home workout club is a program that I created where you get bi-weekly workouts every single 2 weeks that are at home with what things that most people have, like dumbbells or resistance bands. So simple, easy sign up. Again, $37.95 bi-weekly for that program, and you get those workouts that you can complete in the comfort of your own home.
Ooh, let me tell you, Coach Cailah, for you guys, you should join our closed group, Girls Work That Body, and Coach Cailah also has a closed group, but she's been posting videos, and she posted this ab workout. Oh my Lord. It was not for the faint of heart. I did complete it, thank God. But it was hard because, again, we're going to come and bring that on in. Our next thing that we're going to talk about is my ab work. Like that's my weak area. I don't like working my abs, and so I'm like, I got everything else banging. I'm gonna make sure I'm getting this 6-pack. It's right now about a 4, but I need to I need to come on and do what it needs to do. But that workout, no sooner than that, you could really tell. I mean, one time, the effect and benefit, you could just feel it. You could feel it. And she calls it she said the fat burner. That's what it was, the fat burner. And oh my gosh, can you tell us a little bit about that fat burner workout?
It was just a little. What I do is I started posting workout circuits. Some people need help of adding different exercises together. So I was like, okay, I'll just start posting some. So I would take video clips of my personal exercise and, put it in a video and then post it. They're called Coach Cailah's workout circuits. And you can add as many, sets as you want to, as many reps as you want to. But it just strings together some really powerful and potent options for exercise. Now, the one that you're speaking on is I did an oblique workout itself. We started off with some central core abs, so basically focusing on the rectus abdominis with our kind of half crunch sit-ups. And then we went over to an oblique circuit that I really like. It really burns those obliques because I have problems with my love handles, and I know that I've really got to focus. Now, when it comes to the abs, people don't realize this. Your abdominals are muscles. So if you want your muscles to show, you have to, number one, make them bigger. And then number 2, which should be 2, then you have to basically decrease the fat around that area. So if you stay exactly the same where you are right now today, and you make those muscles pop, you really bulge those muscles, you have a 6-pack, right? Or you can decrease the fat. If you decrease the fat, it does not mean you'll have a 6-pack. You'll just be slim. So you've got to have both, right? So it's really, really hard to be a sumo wrestler and have a 6-pack. So that's some real serious muscle there. So that's why there's a combination, right? So you got to increase the muscle mass of that area by actually lifting weights. We're afraid of lifting weights, but your abs are muscles, just like your biceps. You got to lift weights. You got to squat. You have to do all these things. And then, of course, nutrition and cardio, that'll help to tone and flatten that area out with fat burn. So that's the real trick of the abs.
Wow, I love that. So how do you lift weights for your abs?
Add weight.
The machine, just add weight to the workouts. Gotcha.
No, add weight to your ab exercises, right? So in the video that I posted, that was not adding weight because I did it so many times I did not need to. Yes. But if I want to increase my muscle mass, I have to increase the amount of weight that I'm lifting for hypertrophy. So if I want to do a sit-up, right, a simple sit-up, then if I'm here, I'm coming up, all right, I can add a 5-pound dumbbell on my chest and hold it and come up. Now I'm lifting weights, right? And it'll be a lot more challenging. Instead of having to do, 30, 40, 50 reps on doing this sit-up right here, I can add the weight, do less reps, but get a deeper burn because my body, I then increase the intensity. I can keep the volume the same. I even might be able to decrease the volume, but if that intensity itself is high enough, it forces the body to change and to be designed.
You better educate us, Coach Cailah, because I never know. Come through now. Come through. And so now, I've got to add some weights to it to make it pop like it needs to.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. So, ladies, if you have questions, drop them in the comments, and we'll make sure we get those to you. So, what about what are some other areas that we normally have issues with? I guess if you want to lift your backside, or the little arm thingies that go right here, those are some issues. And you did say the love handles. Women have those issues as well. So
yes. Now, different women have different fat deposits, right? Different people have different fat deposits. Fat does not just store in the same places in everyone, right? You may have heard someone say, oh, well, I eat this and it goes right to my thighs. Someone else says, well, I eat this and it goes right to my triceps. Everyone has their own areas of fat deposits, though they may be similar to a lot of people, but again, they're still specific. So when we look at the butt, like you mentioned, lifting the butt is not decreasing fat. It's literally bulging up a muscle. So if I want my butt to be nice and firm and round, I'm actually working on a glute focused workout circuit that I did earlier today. But if I want my butt to be nice and round, then I have to build the muscle. I've got to lift weights. Now, whether it's a dumbbell, kettlebell, or resistance band, it's still resistance that I'm pushing up against. Because if my booty has absolutely no muscle tone, it'll be flat. So I need muscle tone to actually give me the curve that I'm looking for, right? Now, when you look at the triceps, same thing. The triceps itself, they're a pretty long and flat muscle. So the hard thing is that you can add fat to a muscle that is long and flat, and what happens is that's where you get the flabby arms. So you still want to increase the muscle of the tricep, which will stop a lot of that extra shake and jiggle, along with decreasing the overall fat through cardio, through nutrition, and even through some endurance training.
So what are some things that people can do? What is one exercise for that to target that area?
See, that's the hard thing. It almost doesn't matter because you can do a lot of exercises. Any kind of tricep exercise can target the area. It's just a matter of, are you focusing intently on your technique, right? So I can sit here and I have no weight in my hand. I can sit here and do an overhead tricep extension and I can feel my entire tricep. I have no weight in my hand. I'm flexing my entire muscle and I'm moving through that full range of motion. There's no flap. There's no, if I relax, then you'll see it move, right? But all you have to do is focus on that muscle. It's called a mind-muscle connection. If I focus intently on making that muscle contract and move and squeeze, then I'm getting an extra workout. Now, if I add 10 pounds, if I add 15 pounds, I might feel the same. But it's not about the weight so much. It's about focusing intently on the actions of that muscle. So technique is everything.
We're going to get it because we are being schooled today. Hey, thank you.
Going to class today.
Thank you. Okay, fat deposits. I can say for sure that is true. Yeah, they just pick and choose where they want to go, That is absolutely true. So another thing that we wanted to talk about is fiber in our diets and the importance of it. Can you talk to us about that?
So fiber is important. I think most people understand that. But we don't know is how much fiber we're supposed to get, right? So the average woman is supposed to have right around 25 grams of fiber per day.
45?
25.
Okay.
Yep. So the average woman is supposed to have 25 grams of fiber per day, the average, right? Now, on average, American women typically have 3 to 6 grams of fiber per day.
Well, no
which is a big difference.
Yeah, no wonder we have problems going to the restroom. Okay.
Yep. So the thing that fiber, it not only cleans our intestinal tract, especially the rough fiber, like your broccoli, like your rough kale, your rough fiber, that cleans and kind of scrubs our intestinal tract. But also you have fiber that your prebiotics and probiotics that help to feed the positive bacteria in your gut. So here we talk about true health, right? So inside your gut, you have good bacteria and bad bacteria. The good bacteria feeds off of the fiber. The bad bacteria feeds off of sugar. Okay? I'm going to give you another fact. When it comes to sugar, the average woman should have 21 to 25 grams of sugar per day. Now, I'm not saying just, white granulated sugar. I'm saying sugar, whether it's fructose, whether it's sucrose, sugar in general. Right?
Even from fruit, right? Even the sugar from fruit.
Yes, it's still sugar, right? So if anything, something that breaks down into pure sugar itself,
Mm-hmm.
that counts. So if I eat a pineapple and a mango and a banana,
Mm-hmm.
you know, my sugar count is really high because those fruits come high in sugar. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what we have to realize is that yes, fruit is good, but there is a balance with your macronutrients. That's why you should call me and sign up so that I can help you with that.
Hey man, I
but
know I tell you one thing, you are 9 spots because I got number one. I'm number 10. Okay. Now,
nice.
so what are
But
you
yeah, so with the sugar itself, again, we're supposed to have, you know, only 25 grams. Now, I can't give you the average because I've seen it all across the board, but I've seen anything from 100 to 200 grams of sugar, you know, for women that come into my programs. So that's a big difference, 25 to 100 and 200. Now, going back, right? So we have fiber at 25, ideally, sugar at 25, ideally. Fiber feeds the good bacteria. Sugar feeds the bad bacteria. So, for the average woman, if I've got 6 grams of good bacteria or good fiber going in to feed my good bacteria, that's going to do a little bit, right? But if I have 100 grams of sugar going in to feed the bad bacteria, I get bacteria overgrowth, right? So the bad bacteria begin to take over my intestines, they get to take over my gut. Then I'm not able to get in the nutrients from the good food that I do eat because it's overgrown with bacteria and crap. And it also begins to fight the good bacteria.
wow.
So sugar literally tells, decreases your longevity. It decreases your lifespan. And I'm not even talking about how yes, it's a you know it's very addicting, but I'm talking about how it is literally a poison. It feeds the things in your body like cancer, like those bad bacteria, like free radicals that cause issues. So try your best to reduce your sugar. I can't say stay away from it because that's just not realistic, you
Mm-hmm.
know? But reduce the amount of sugar that you have. Try and set an average per week. You know, if you got a birthday party on Monday, all right, make it up the rest of the week. It's okay to eat cake. It's okay. But balance it out. Have moderation. It's okay to drink wine or whatever else, but balance it out because, yes, there are sugars in those alcohols as well.
Mm-hmm.
So
Ooh.
that's the danger with not having enough fiber is that sugar really feeds. You can have candida overgrowth, and there have been serious issues with that. It might manifest in different ways, like yeast infections. It might manifest with bad breath. It might manifest into diabetes.
Mm. Ooh.
Depends on a lot of factors.
You are schooling us today. You know, I am known in my family to be the treat girl. And they call me that.
Yeah.
They call me the treat girl because I love sweets, certain kind of sweets, you know. And I'm telling
Mm-hmm.
you, I had to give myself like a day to, to indulge in that because I could just go beyond measure with that. But
Now, what I like to do is I like to exchange my sugar for a either low or 0 calorie sweetener, right? I
mhm,
prefer stevia. Some people don't like the aftertaste. I don't taste one. But stevia is the sweet extract from a leaf. So it's all natural, all herbal, all that good stuff. But
mhm,
it's not sugar. So it doesn't increase my glycemic index, right? It doesn't feed the bad bacteria, and I still get that sweetness. I even try sometimes and stay like I'll do honey every now and again, but at the end of the day, sugar is still sugar.
oh,
So
even
you
the
want
honey. Ugh. Go ahead, go
to.
ahead, go ahead.
So yeah, you want to stay away from sugar as much as possible. Live your life, enjoy it, but just be mindful what you're feeding when you eat. Ooh,
You,
that was good. That was a good one. I
that
like
was real good. We're taught that we should have a certain amount of fruits a day, right?
that. Hmm.
So, I do, at least three. I do the blackberries. I have maybe some watermelon, depending on the season. Um, a banana, some strawberries. So you're saying that I am still overloading it with sugar, and I like my teas, and I like to put honey in it, and I also like molasses, like blackstrap molasses. Like I make cereal with blackstrap molasses and honey. So you're saying to me,
You from the South. That's awesome.
so you're saying to me, I'm going overboard.
Well, I can't say for a fact because I'd have to look at your numbers, right? So blueberries don't have a lot of sugar comparatively, right? Compared to like a banana, right? So there are some fruits, your berries ideally, they are the lowest in sugar, but the highest in antioxidants. So blueberries, raspberries, strawberries, those blackberries, those again are have the lowest sugar content. They're still sweet, but the lowest sugar content with the highest antioxidants. I do not know the content of that black molasses. I can only imagine, but you do have to again balance it. So let's say that that sugar that you're consuming, it might be maybe 70, 80 grams. Okay, well, how much fiber are you consuming? How much protein and how active are you? Because yes, if you're consuming a lot of sugar, but you're staying very active, it does help. It does balance out. Now, there's a caveat to that. Marathon runners, or people that would typically carbohydrate load, they still get diabetes because of all the carbs, because of all the sugar. So even I don't want to run a marathon, so I don't want to do a whole bunch of extra work to keep my sugar down. I'd rather just kind of keep it down and substitute when and where I can. But it is better to have, sugars from natural things like honey because it's not just sugar. It also comes with antioxidants. It also comes, honey, I believe, is an antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial. So when you consume something, realistically, you want it to be more than just sugar itself. So you put sugar in your tea, that's a bad move. Put honey, put agave, put the molasses, put something that has a positive benefit along with it. But still be mindful about what you're consuming and how much of it.
I am extremely concerned about our kids today. Because, I mean, if they are doing this now, what kind of and I honestly believe why they're saying they are ADHD. I guess that's how you say it. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
That is just sugar overload. Like they don't need medication. You need to just take sugar out of their diet. What do you think about that?
I believe that nowadays, kids, particularly African American kids, are being diagnosed more with ADHD due to nutrition.
Yes.
That is for me a number one cause. Now, a number two cause, I'm going to say parenting because I don't know any kids that got whoopings the way I got whoopings. The whoopings that my parents got. So some of those like I'm sure you remember this, but I remember being fearful of a school officer calling my parents. It's like, no, please, no, so that's just me. But going back to nutrition, yes, sugar is a poison. And on young minds, it causes such different effects, but also those effects are more potent. Along with sugar, then we also have processed foods. The older someone is, typically they weren't raised on processed foods because they really weren't even around then. The quality of food was so much better. Even at the grocery store now, you have to be careful with even shopping for produce. Okay, is this real or is this made up? Is this a seedless grape, which is, just genetically created, or is this, so we have to make so many more choices than our ancestors did because of the lack of quality. You may have heard that, yes, the soil nowadays is so much different than the soil of our grandparents and their grandparents. Yes, it is true. So sometimes people may need to supplement, so like different, shots of things. Like here's an example. This is my wheatgrass.
Yes, I love wheatgrass. Yes.
I'm growing my own little wheatgrass, and I'll take, a few snippets of this and put it in a salad or in a smoothie, whatever else. But realistically, how much is that? How much do I need to get the benefit of what it would have been 20 years ago?
That's
So
good.
that means that I have to just keep it in my rotation a lot more consistently than the past and make sure I'm staying up on my vitamins and just eating the rainbow. That's how you combat that. But when it comes to our children, really the sickness is coming from processed foods and sugar. That's that. So the future is. I'm worried about some of our futures because of how our kids are being raised now. Because it's going to be so much harder for them to learn the proper ways when they get older than it is for them to learn from their parents. Learn those positive traits from their parents now.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
yeesh. And if you even think about that, like most people that we know start really trying to have to go to the doctor quite often, maybe when they get in their 60s, 70s, or 80s, or something like that. But with the rate
Mm-hmm.
that the kids are eating these sweets now, it can really start at a younger age that they're going to incur all these medical bills for the simple fact of nutrition that's been handed down. And when you were saying that, what I wrote down was it kind of, I said it's crazy because, our ancestors, when they were on the plantations, and of course what they learned on the plantations, they handed it down from generation to generation. They got like the worst of the worst of what was left over, you know
Mm-hmm.
chitterlings and stuff like that, and but they still had a better quality of life than we have when we have all these
Mm-hmm.
wonderful choices. It just doesn't make sense. It's kind of, you know how does that happen? And then another thing you talked about, I don't think that most people realize, is that a lot of our foods are genetically made. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, yeah, now I'll hit on what you mentioned earlier about how, being on the plantation, we were given the worst of the worst. Like that, the more I study nutrition, the more I realize, and also culture, the more I realize that that's a cultural thing. So Europeans thought that pig, pork wasn't a great thing. So they wouldn't go for the feet or the ears or, the intestines or the things like that or the skin. They wouldn't go for that because in their culture, those are discardable items. But in, various African cultures, they used everything. They made stews out of everything. They use every single part of the animal. So we've been taught those words because we've assimilated to the thought that that was what was bad. So there are some, like you will have some Africans that are Muslim, so they don't eat pork, but those that are not Muslim, they raise their cattle, they're going to hunt and use and eat everything. So it's not, and so what our ancestors got was bad in the minds of the Europeans, but we already knew how to make it because it was normal. So it was normal for us. And again, depending on the culture, so on and so forth. But you're right, it's just the quality. So our ancestors, they had, high protein, high fat meals. If you think about, they have a little bit of, actually more fat and carbs. So they have high carb and high fat meals, getting off of, the coming inside from the plantation, but they were extremely active. So today, when we have high fat and high carbohydrate meals, we're going to get fat because we aren't as active as they were. So those are more issues we have to face. And you also mentioned the quality of foods. I forgot.
The
I went on
genetic, how the food
Oh
is
yeah,
genetically made today.
yes. So industrialization, is where money is. You can make something bigger if you can make it faster, if you can make more of it, that's where the money is. And so when that came from just, okay, let me make, plowing the fields faster, when that started with, let me make cotton picking faster or pulling cotton, with a cotton gin. So the industrialization started there, but it also went to food. So when they started saying, let me make grapes bigger and strawberries bigger and this, they just added so many hormones and chemicals and things that I believe is the reason why we're getting so many more diseases than what our ancestors had, because our tolerance, like we've been eating, hormone ridden chicken for years. You know, if you go to a farm or you go to a farmer's market, that chicken breast might be like this big. You know, it might be maybe the smaller than the palm of my hand. But you go to Walmart, that thing is ginormous. And it's just like, what is this pumped up with? You know, so it's just, you just have to be careful. You have to be mindful of where you're shopping, right? And what you're shopping for. So unfortunately, in today's society, we have to make trips to different stores for different things.
Yeah.
You know, this is the perfect time for your farmers markets. So go to your farmers markets for your produce and for your meats. You know, go to Walmart for your toiletries or something like that. But keep your food in a source that you can trust, like whether it be a butcher or your own garden.
Yes.
So it is dangerous today. It is.
You know, a lot of people we've been raised up like on seedless watermelons, seedless grapes, and what we don't understand is a grape and a watermelon was never created to be seedless. It is genetically
Mm-hmm.
altered, and it is not good for our bodies. The Creator said that we were to eat every seed-bearing plant, and He did it for a reason because He knows what our body needs. But we, in our own mind, comes and say, "Well, I'm gonna make this bigger, and then I can get it out better. So let me take out, make my own grape." you know,
Mm-hmm.
and so now we have what we call seedless this and seedless that was never intended to be seedless. And another
Right.
thing is the soil. In the Bible, the Lord told them the land needs rest. So it was like a year or so that they weren't supposed to farm the land so that the land can regenerate itself and get the nutrients needed and necessary to be in the
Mm-hmm.
foods that we eat. And because we don't do that because of mass production, because of economy, because somebody wants to make lots of money, we just violated all those laws, and then we come up with this food that's not nutritious
Exactly.
for us. So what some things that we can do is just do our own little garden. I have an uncle, he told me you can just go out and you don't need much land, just right there, a little bit in your front yard, and just start putting tomatoes. And you can even do them, I think you can do little tomato plants like and just sit them on the porch or whatever. So now we have to
Mm-hmm.
start going back to the old time way
Yes, we do.
in order to live a healthy quality life. And it's going to have to take us having a shift of mindset, you know, because we're
Mm-hmm.
not used to it. We're not used to that at all. Can you tell us a little bit? Do you do your own garden, or do you know someone that does their own garden?
Yes, I wish I could like show a picture to you in here, but yes, I do. This is I made a raised garden. I'm looking at it. I made a raised garden this year, and I've got zucchini, cucumber, tomato, hot peppers, okra, sweet peppers,
Wow.
melon, summer squash, acorn squash, winter squash. Um, I have a salad bin that has lettuce and arugula and even some wheatgrass. So yeah, and broccoli. What else do I have? So I tried to make something that if the end of the world happened, that me and my family could eat
Uh-huh.
because we didn't know what was happening with COVID-19.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So my harvest, hopefully this year, will be pretty bountiful. But yeah, so I agree. Like I agree with farming. You know, whether you start in your apartment, on your windowsill, even with herbs and spices, that can be done anywhere, at any time. It doesn't need much light, or you do something full out like I've done. Either way, if you start that process, if you even start with those herbs and spices and begin to add those to your foods every single day, oh, that will cause such a tremendous benefit. Now, what's important to note is the dosage, right? So it's called a minimal effective dose. So the minimal effective dose for different things is different to see a benefit. So let's say, for example, that if I want to, have turmeric, because I understand that turmeric can help increase blood flow and decrease inflammation. What is the minimum effective dose? If I put a sprinkle of turmeric on my food, is that going to get it? Or so we've got to research those things to know. And a lot of times we'd rather sit down and watch TV, watch our stories or our shows or whatever's happening right now, instead of doing something to prepare our futures and to educate ourselves. So I believe that we need to get back to the olden day where reading was an amazing thing, where reading was that pastime, not necessarily watching the show, because that'll really put us in a good position to change.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I love it. So now that I have two questions from what you just shared, kudos to you about your garden. So one of the questions is, are you going to maybe do a course where you teach people how to do one? And then the second question is, have you learned how to store all of that? Like, how are you going to freeze it, or are you going to all eat it all now, or are you going to give it away to relatives? How are you going to, store your food? Hold on, I think we got Coach Cailah. Let's see. There you go. I think we have a little hang up. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
You
Yes.
were saying
So
doing a
it
course about teaching people for the garden.
yes, and how will you store all of your veggies that you're putting in your garden? Are you going to give it away? Are you going to store it for the winter, or how are you going to do that?
My most honest answer is I have no idea. But I'm gonna call, like, as that time comes, I'm gonna call my grandma and I'm gonna call my auntie to
Yes.
see, okay, what do I do? Because I'm not an experienced gardener. I just wanted to make sure that I could have as limited trips out to the market as possible because I didn't know what's happening with quarantine.
Yeah.
But some things, I'll eat here. Some things I'll figure out how to store. But some things I'll see what I can give to a shelter. you know
Awesome.
so it just really depends on what I learn. I've been told that the canning process is something kind of difficult, so I probably won't can. Whatever I can kind of put in jams and jars and freeze, I'll do. But
Hmm.
otherwise, I'll probably give it away because it's a fun process, and then learn how to do it a little better next year.
Hmm. Well, that's another little product you can put under your belt, is teaching people how to do a garden, and let me know so I can come on through. I'm going to see if my, my uncle can come over and show me, because oh my gosh, they have everything. And then my aunt, she knows how to can it and store every single thing. Like
That's
she was telling my mother, she had some squash or something. She was like, you need to boil it just for a couple of minutes or whatever, then take it out, then put it in the freezer. So it's just all those little techniques that we don't have
mm-hmm.
a clue about because we didn't get it from our grandmother. We didn't care to ask
Yep.
because we was too busy being educated.
Yep.
And now we wish we
Yep.
would have asked her. So if you have any
Mm-hmm.
older relatives, I'm telling you, call and say, I need to make an appointment with you because we don't know what's going on
Exactly.
with COVID, what's going to happen, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order for us to be prepared, we need to go back to the old time way. I don't know
Yes,
how far
ma'am.
back, but we need to go back somewhere.
Right, not too far back, but just kind of a happy medium. But
Yes.
yeah, we gotta talk to our elders because they have a lot of wisdom, and it's interesting because I've begun to do that. I started a blog called Nutrition for Black Women, and in that blog itself is where I go and I talk to my elders. I find out, well, what's different? What are things that were passed on to you that you wish were passed on to this generation? Or what were some things that you wish you learned? And I've gotten a wide range of answers and results. And some of our ancestors, some of our elders were city folks, so they didn't do gardens, and I got to go to the different side of the family to find out new things. So it's a process, and I'm enjoying it because it's going to better me because I'm going to take these things and give them to my kids. My parents right now are gardening. I didn't grow up with my parents gardening, probably because we were too busy in sports or in church or whatever else, but that's something that I want to pass on to my kids.
Yeah. Yeah. So our last thing that we're going to deal with before we call it a day and let you get back to your life, and we thank you so much for taking the time out with us. We want to know a little bit more about herbs. They have a very healing benefit that we don't even know about. So can
Yep.
you maybe give us like three herbs or spices that we can go and get and add to our seasoning to give us some health benefits?
I think the herb that I use the least is a spice. So the spice that I use the least is cinnamon,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, but I love going to Ethiopian restaurants, and I love ordering their cinnamon tea. They have a whole cinnamon stick in their tea with something else, and it's amazing. I always feel really, really good when I leave. But cinnamon has a blood sugar lowering effect, as well as, again, blood sugar, therefore it's anti-diabetic. But it also has several other medicinal properties to it. And I'm not an expert on all of the herbs and spices. Again, I got to talk to my auntie and my grandma. But cinnamon is great. So especially for those that are diabetic. So if you add cinnamon to your tea, to your coffee, even to your water, just start adding stuff. Start cooking with it. And there's a different way to cook. Like I've been going around the world with my meals. So last night I created a chicken tikka masala, and using different herbs and different spices that I wouldn't normally use with making typical American or even, African American style dishes. So when you cook from different cultures, you incorporate different things. So I'm learning what cultures my body really loves. My body really loves Indian food. My body really loves. I made some jollof rice the other day, and my body really loves those spices, those West African spices there. But so there are hundreds, and there are literally books about these herbs and spices and how to use them. But cinnamon is one. Another really interesting one is sage. Okay, so sage itself, it can improve brain function and a little bit of memory. So if you add a little bit, whether you smell it, or add a little bit of sage along with that cinnamon in the morning in your morning tea, it might give you a little extra kick. But it has, a lot of healing properties that have been documented from the Middle Ages to whatever else, especially in dealing with Alzheimer's disease, so that's a really good one as well. The last one that a lot of people may realize, they may not, is peppermint. Right? You can easily grow peppermint in the kitchen, on the windowsill, or in the garden. But peppermint, it can reduce nausea. It can also reduce IBS pain. All right. So peppermint naturally has a healing kind of calming sense. So sometimes we'll even eat peppermint when they have headaches. So there are several reasons as to why herbs and spices work. Again, I am not the expert in that field by far, but I'm learning more about it. And I'm creating a blog on a few of them, but it is so interesting. So if you're interested, guys, follow my blog. It's actually on Facebook. You can check it out. It's Nutrition for Black Women. Check it out. There's a page and a group there that we kind of discuss some cool things like that, as well as the blog. It's www.nutritionforblackwomen.com. And if you're not Black, it's totally okay. You can still come. But what it focuses on are the genetic differences of women of African descent, and how we have so many issues living in America with diseases and with certain types of things, and why that is, because our bodies may need a little something different. And in that blog is where I try and uncover and identify what those differences are.
Yeah, guys, and I post some of those, like once a week. I'll post one of the blog posts from that from her blog to the Girls Work That Body page. So you may see it in our timeline as well. Yeah, I love the fact you telling us. It's funny you said cinnamon. I just started putting cinnamon into my oatmeal.
Okay,
so
yeah.
Making my own oatmeal and then adding the cinnamon in that. So I'm loving that. And then I was reading something about nutmeg. I heard nutmeg is extremely powerful, really good for like cancer and things like that. But you can't use a lot of nutmeg because of its potency. You have to use just a little bit. I don't know. Do you know anything about nutmeg?
Nutmeg itself, it is, right? So sometimes, again, we talked earlier about the minimum effective dose. So the minimum effective dose is how much do you need to actually see a benefit. So you have a start range, and then you also have a range that kind of gets on over to either the toxicity side or something else. So nutmeg, ironically, has, a minimum effective dose. I don't know exactly what it is yet, but I know specifically that it can also become toxic or also hallucinogenic, depending on how much you take. Now, I have no idea how much that is. So don't be afraid of nutmeg. Probably the amount that we would use, wouldn't even come close to it. But we're talking about, in old times when people would mash up, mushrooms and herbs and spices and take those for different rituals or whatever else. But these foods connect us to the earth. When they're from the earth. When they're from a factory, that's different. But our foods, our herbs, our spices, like I'm a true believer in Hippocrates, and we believe that Imhotep said it first, but I'm a true believer in the concept of let thy food be thy medicine, and let thy medicine be thy food, because they are one in the same.
Wow. That is a good way to end it. Thank you, Coach Cailah. Guys, Coach Cailah will be with us every fourth Thursday. Unless her schedule and my schedule will not allow it, and we'll let you know in advance. I know if you're like me, I have thoroughly enjoyed talking with you on today. Thank you so much for your insight. Thank you for so much for your transparency, and thank you so much for saying, "Hey, I don't know a whole lot about it. I'm on this journey to learning," and so we thank you for that. Just thank you for taking the time out of your life to educate us a little bit more, and we know that because of it, we're going to be better for it. And ladies, look into in the comment section to see the benefits. If you want to get with Coach Cailah, you want her to train you, you want to get on her meal plans, or if you want to go and get the free calorie assessment so that you'll know what your calorie intake should be and what you should take out and so on and so forth. Her website and everything is in the comment section, so just click on there. She'd love to talk with you. She'll talk you to death probably, but you'll come out
probably
wiser for it. Thank you again, Coach Cailah. Do you want to leave us with anything before we get off?
The biggest thing that I like that I said earlier was just be mindful of what you're feeding when you eat. Just think about that.
Okay, ladies, y'all hear her. We're going to be mindful. We're going to do this thing right. We're not going to be known as the disease-sick people. We're going to be well. We're going to be well. Yes, and all because we're getting knowledge of it. So thank you again. And ladies, thank you all for tuning in. Be on the lookout. If you have not liked the Girls Work That Body page, go ahead and do so. Turn on your notifications as well so you'll know when we have new content. And join us in the mornings at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. Or look for Coach Cailah and her workouts, and let's get healthy together. God bless you all, and I'll see you on the next one. Good night.
Night, guys.